Hello everyone, Andrew Chubb here from Awalé Resources, a TSX-V listed company with the ticker ARIC. I'm coming to you today to talk to you about a news release on the Lando target, which came out this morning. The usual forward-looking statements. We're within the Odienné project, which is just under 3,500 kilometres of exploration tenure, the dominant portion of that being 100% Awalé Resources, with 3 permits now granted for Awale and 2 in application, and then the other part is a joint venture with Newmont where Awale is the operator. And this Lando target is in the northern part of the joint venture properties there. You can see that it is approximately 5 kilometres along strike from the BBM discovery, and it is associated with the same structural corridor. So BBM is on the northeastern side of a major domain boundary, and Lando is on the western side of the same major domain boundary. And we do see similarities in the mineralization of BBM and Lando, and without further ado, we'll move on and talk about that a little. So the next slide is a zoom in on that Lando zone, or the Lando target. It's a 4 kilometre long gold and copper geochemical anomaly. We did drill some early holes quite some time ago now, got some interesting intercepts, and this has been a broader close to 3,300 metre drill program with some longer system fences which come all the way across the strike of the gold and copper anomaly. We've got mineralization in all 4 of those drill lines, and the highlights from that program are shown here. The one that's not shown on this map is the RC hole 9, which is associated with a western shear zone. Effectively, we're seeing 2 shear zones which come into possibly a broader zone down here where we've got this series of 3 diamond holes. So the holes there you can see in white are diamond holes, and the rest of the holes are actually RC. We've seen 2 shear zones. We haven't announced this as a discovery, and there is a reason behind that. We don't have broad intercepts at economic grades, but we've certainly got a smoking gun. And the reasoning behind that is we think that our host rock geology that we've intercepted so far is dominantly basalt. There is also other volcanics as well. So the difference between Lando and something like BBM at the moment is that we've got a more competent intrusive rock at BBM, which is hosting the mineralization, granodiorite, and we have seen evidence of these intrusive rocks in the drilling at Lando, what we would call fingers of intrusive rock, and there is evidence for more of those with the magnetic surveys that we've done, as well as the IP resistance and chargeability surveys that we've done. So we really think that Lando has potential to be called a discovery, and we are currently in a planning phase to drill more at Lando in Q4 of this year. So as I mentioned, we did drill some interesting intercepts. The highlights of the program, some really nice broad shear zones on this eastern side in RC hole 14 and 15, 29 metres and 39 metres at 0.4 grams respectively. And then on the eastern shear zone, we've got a prominent ridge line, which is why we drilled diamond in that zone. Difficult to get in there with an RC rig, so we attacked that with diamond drilling. And we don't have the same broad intercepts as in the RC on the western shear, but we've got some really nice silica alteration of basaltic rocks with grades of over a gram, over 5 to 10 meters in these drill sections here. So section AA we'll show you later, but also in this drill section down here with hole 6 and 7, we actually have got 4 and 5 metre intervals at over a gram in that zone there as well. So there's plenty here to warrant follow-up drilling in, as I mentioned, in Q4 once we're through the wet season and we can get access back into Lando again. So the first cross section is through the diamond drilling with OELD or diamond hole from this program, diamond hole 1 and diamond hole 4. And what we're seeing is a mineralized zone which is within basaltic within basaltic volcanics with high strain and silica alteration. We get intrafolial quartz. It overprints biotite alteration, and we get stringer veining within that, mostly intrafolial as well, that contains chalcopyrite and molybdenite as well. So really interesting intercepts, but as I mentioned, we think we haven't got the competency contrast at this stage, but we have evidence of intrusives coming up into the basalt and volcanic clastic sequence, and we think that there is potential to get broadening of those intrusive zones and potentially stronger mineralization over over broader distances or broader shear zones through those intrusive rocks, and that's what a follow-up program would entail. The next section is from that far north RC line, where we can distinctly, it's what we would call a system line that goes all the way through the gold and copper anomaly up there, and we can clearly see the two shear zones that I've been talking about within that corridor. So OELR 9 got 17 metres at 0.7, and then 14 and 15 have drilled the same shear with quite broad intercepts of 39 and 29 metres at 0.4, as I mentioned. So we've certainly got a smoking gun at Lando, and we're really looking forward to follow-up drilling there. So look, the final slide is a quick talk on or a quick showing of the mineralization. In this, really, we're looking at particularly in OELD1 up there, the basaltic host rock lithology. You can see the high strain. There's a distinct foliation through the rocks, and the white zones in there are actually intrafolial quartz veining. Some of that quartz veining does actually start to cross-cut, but within that as well is where we find our sulfides, chalcopyrite and molybdenite as well, and along with pyrite in there as well. The next one down is from hole 4, which is underneath drill hole number 1 from that cross section that I showed you, and look, we're seeing a similar thing. So we're actually seeing quite a lot of silica alteration. The lighter colour is a combination of some chloride alteration, as well as the fact that the host rock lithology has changed to more volcanic clastics here, but you can also see that we are getting some increased thickness in those quartz vein zones, and where those quartz veins are actually starting to cross-cut that foliation in the rocks. So, as I mentioned, we're seeing the smoke. We think we're seeing the smoking gun mineralization hosted in these volcanics, but we also have seen in the drilling evidence of intrusive rocks, granitic or felsic granitic dikes that we think have potential to host significant, where there is broader zones of those intrusives to host significant mineralization over broader distances at the Lando target. So we're really excited to go back in there, and with the potential of making Lando the 5th discovery at the Odienné project. Thanks very much for your time, and I hope to speak to you all again soon.